Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ishan Vikas Kakade. I'm a concept artist, illustrator and a 3D artist. I've completed my fine arts and currently I'm into entertainment industry. I love to create characters and environments. So our today's video is about ZBrush navigation for beginners. So let's get started with our video. Hello guys, so let's learn how to navigate inside ZBrush. This video is for beginners, so it's beginner friendly. So first of all, how do we start sculpting? How do we get started with our sculpting? So this is currently in 2.5D mode, and we need 3D view to start sculpting. This is currently 2.5D mode. So to clear this, what you can do is go to preferences, initialize ZBrush, and yes, this will clear your canvas. So to get started, go to tools menu. You can also access this menu through going to the tool menu, which is here, tool. You can pin this by just hitting this key. So to navigate inside ZBrush, first of all you need to have an subtool inside the ZBrush. So we hit tool and append a sphere. Then we hit edit to rotate, zoom in, zoom out, and pan our sphere. And we hit make polymesh 3D to start sculpting. But this is way too much less polygons to start with sculpting. So to have decent amount of polygons, we go to geometry, dynamesh, and hit dynamesh. So the basic navigation in ZBrush, how do we rotate, pan, zoom in, zoom out, is very simple. So hit Alt key and your stylus and just Alt and just move the sphere in the canvas. For panning we do this, and for zoom in, zoom out, Alt, and I'll repeat that again. For zoom in, zoom out, we press Alt and we press the stylus and leave the Alt key, so we can zoom in and zoom out. For rotating, we can just press on the subtool and just rotate it. You can also rotate the subtool using this key. Similarly for zoom in, zoom out, you can use this. Zoom out for this, and zoom in. To pan, you can also use move button. Moving on to how do we start sculpting. For sculpting, we need brushes. So to access the brushes, hit B key, and there are tons of brushes in a brush library. So to access specific brushes, there are short forms for it, or you can call it cheat codes. So to get starting with our sculpting, we need clay build-up brusher. So BCB, as the name suggests, clay built-up brusher. So to increase the brush size, we can either go here, or we can hit our S key and increase the brush size. And we can get starting with the sculpting process. Let's learn about what are the basic brushes to get started with. For beginners, I would recommend there are four main brushes, which is clay buildup brush, standard brush, move brush, and trim dynamic brush. So clay buildup brush is BCB, which gives us this effect, which lets us to add clay and remove clay using the Alt key. The second brush is the second brush is standard brush. So standard brush BST. So this allows us to add those fine details. Similarly, we can carve in also using Alt. For those who don't know how to carve in, to just add clay, we just normally move our brush on the sphere, and to carve in, we press Alt, the cursor turns minus, and we can just carve in. This is applicable to all the brushes. Add clay, we just move our brush on the sphere. To minus the clay or to carve in, hit Alt, and we can carve in. The third brush is move brush. Again, the same cheat code: B for brush, M for move, and BMV is the shortcut key. So to increase our brush size, again S, increase the brush size, and we can move our mesh. We can move it in any direction wherever we want. The fourth brush is trim dynamic brush, BTD. So what this does is that it gives us a flat surface. When we use this brush, it gives us a flat surface. We can use this to add surface detail for metals. It is a pretty good brush. You can use it. Okay. So let's learn how to turn on our symmetry. If you want to do sculpting, we can just sculpt on one side, and we can sculpt without turning on our symmetry. To turn on symmetry, press X key. That will turn on our symmetry. So we can sculpt with symmetry on. This helps with the symmetrical models. I can use move key, again B and V, to move this mesh, to move this mesh inside symmetrically. BCB, clay buildup brush up. This looks like a creature's head. We can carve in by using Alt key. Okay, so our basic navigation in ZBrush is that to pan, we press Alt and just press in the background, and we can basically pan our mesh. To zoom in, zoom out, Alt, press the stylus and leave your Alt key. You can zoom in, zoom out. To rotate, you can just press in the background and move your stylus left to right, right to left. or you can use these keys for moving. You can use these buttons, zoom in, zoom out, and rotate. Again, our brushes are clay builder brush BCB, by which you can add clay or minus the clay. To use standard brush, BST. Move brush, BMV, to move our mesh, and trim dynamic brush, BTT, through which we can flatter surface. As now we are in Dynamesh, so to see the wireframe of our model, we can hit Shift F, which gives us access to our wireframe mode, or else you can go here in the buttons section, and you can hit Polyframe button, which will show you the basically for polyframe wireframe mode. And as we are in Dynamesh, if we press Ctrl and drag in the background, it will recalculate the geometry and it will reconstruct. So to do that, press Ctrl and drag outside. If we see that in wireframe mode, Shift F, Ctrl, drag outside. It basically recalculates and it helps us to sculpt in a nice way and gives us more control over the sculpting. Moving on towards our navigation, to activate gizmo mode, hit W, which will show us the gizmo, through which we can move our mesh. We can scale it. So to activate gizmo mode, press W, and to deactivate gizmo mode, press Q. Talking about gizmo, to unlock the gizmo, what you can do is hit this lock, then you can basically move the gizmo, or you can just hit Alt key and then press these arrows and you can basically move the gizmo. To reset the gizmo, hit Home key, wait a minute. To reset our gizmo, press this pen. It will basically go back to the initial stage where our origin point was. Okay, so to deactivate gizmo, hit Q. Moving on towards our next thing to learn for beginners is let's learn about polygroups. What polygroups are. So polygroups basically divides your mesh into two different parts, which are called as polygroups. So if you see this, to go in wireframe mode, hit Shift F, or polyframe. So to add a polygroup, what we do is we mask. So what is masking? Masking is basically to hide the certain part of the mesh. So to add a mask, we press Ctrl and we drag a rectangle. So the black part of the mesh is currently hidden. If you want to sculpt on it, BCB, we cannot because the part is hidden. To invert our mask, we press Ctrl and click outside. That will invert our mask. So as I was talking about polygroups, if I want to add a polygroup to this, I can just mask this area and press Ctrl W. This has added a polygroup to our mesh. If you want to see the polygroup, we need to go in wireframe mode. Shift F. So this is our polygroup. If you want to see only one part of this, press Ctrl and Ctrl Shift and click on one of the polygroup. So only this part is seen currently. If you want to see the whole mesh, Control Shift and click outside. Similarly, if I want to see the red part of the mesh, Control Shift and click on the red part. To bring back our whole model, Control Shift, click outside. And maybe if I added one more polygroup, Control for masking and drag. Control W for adding another polygroup, Shift F. Now I have 3 polygroups. What if I want to go back and add one polygroup to this mesh? It's very simple. We need to go to our clay mode by going to pressing Shift F, mask the whole mesh and press Control W. It basically adds one polygroup to our mesh. If you want to see that, Shift F. Now we have one polygroup. Now talking about masking, there are multiple ways we can mask our mesh. One of them is Control, and we can drag a rectangle, and we can invert it by Control and click outside. There are basically different type of masks how we can mask our mesh. One of them is drag rectangle. Second one is mask pen, through which we can actually paint on our mesh and then mask it. And also we can invert it, Control click outside. The second one is mask lasso, through which we can actually get the freedom to mask specific areas of the mesh very clearly. And there are many of them. There is mask curve pen. I'm not sure how to use it because I've never used it much. I basically probably use mask lasso or mask pen. And there are many like mask square too. But I would suggest for beginners, you can use mask pen or mask lasso. Mask lasso is very handy, it's pretty handy. Okay. So moving on to our tools menu again, how we can actually use our tools. So as you can see, we can load a tool by pressing the load button. We can save our tool. We can export our tool, and also copy our tool. To load our tool, for example, I want to load a tool inside this file. I can hit load tool, and there are some Zbrush files. For example, I want to load head sculpt. We can hit open, and now my mesh is opened. The sculpt which we did back then is currently in this file only. To access that, we can go to this, and we can go to tools menu, and we can hit this head sculpt, and there is our polymesh sphere. We have it. Similarly, we can save as, we can import, and also we can export. Okay, so moving on. Let's learn about how layers work in Zbrush. So where the layers are located, they are in the subtools menu, and these are our layers. So if I want to hide my subtool, I hit this eye icon. It hides basically a mesh. To show you that, we can append a sphere. So yeah, now it's working. So we have two subtools currently. One is our appended sphere, and one is our creature head. So to hide our creature head, we can just hit this icon key and hit on the sphere to basically access the sphere or activate the sphere. We can hit Alt and click on the mesh. Now our creature head is hidden. To unhide that, again the eye icon key. To activate our creature's head, alt and click on the mesh. So that's how we can hide and unhide our subtools in Zbrush. If I want to, for example, delete the spear, I don't need. So I can just hit delete. It's pretty simple. And if I want to duplicate my creature head, what I can do is I can just hit duplicate, and I've got two creature heads. So that's how we duplicate in Zbrush. If I want to append multiple other subtools, how we can do it? So we can hit append. We can append a cube if you want. We can append basic shapes like cylinder. We can append plane also. We can append our own sculpt which we imported. So this is how we can append tools inside Zbrush. Now let's go and learn about what is Lightbox. So let's clear unhide our subtools. Okay, so what is Lightbox? To access Lightbox, we hit comma key, or we go to straight forward to this Lightbox button over here at the top left corner. So this is where all the files are located. These are some of my files. These are our Z projects. These are our Z tools which are inbuilt. We can use them as a starting point to start with any character or any creature. These are our brushes. These are like customized brushes, like for specific reason. These are our textures. There are alphas. There are many things. For beginners, I would recommend ki first try to learn how to navigate inside ZBrush. Have some experience and then get to this information. Right now it's not needed. Right now what is needed is the quick save. Quick save basically saves your file without you actually saving it inside the ZBrush. So it works at default. If I want to go back to my ZBrush sculpting thing, so I can hit comma, which closes the Lightbox menu. You can just click on this button itself. It will close the Lightbox menu for you. If you want to quick save, at the top we have this quick save button. It will save my file, and now it will basically keep on quick saving it after every intervals. So yeah. So now, as we have already learned about how we can navigate inside ZBrush, just to get a quick revision, I told you about the tools menu, where the tools menu is located at the top right hand side corner, and after that how to use the brushes. For brushes, its cheat codes are clay build brush up, BCP. We can add clay, remove clay. We can use a move brush, BMV, to move our mesh. We can use standard brush, BST. And trim dynamic brush, or BTD. We can flatten our surfaces. Then I covered things like masking, where we can mask our mesh, inverted control, click outside. I also covered the layers menu in the subtools. I've also covered the gizmo mode. To access gizmo mode, we hit W, and we can move our mesh. We can scale it pretty huge, scale it up. we can move it. Then we can access our polygroups and wireframe. For accessing our polygroups, we hit Shift F. This is a wireframe mode to add a polygroup. Control and mask and Control W. Now we have got our two polygroups. To access one of those polygroups, hit Control Shift and click. Control Shift click outside to get back the origin mesh. Control Shift and click. So I think that's how pretty much for like basic beginners navigation in Zbrush. Now let's start with something like maybe sculpting. Now as I've created this sphere, I'm actually seeing a character inside this. So I would love to actually take this character. Okay, let's see what we can do. Okay.
I feel the gravity pull and it keeps me awake. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all. I'm taking the moment, starting all over. I wanna be free and live my own life in a new galaxy.
Okay, so something I created, some creature who looks like a bird. Something I created, and I missed one thing, guys, to tell you. Whenever we sculpt, okay, it has that texture. To smooth our mesh, hit Shift, and we can smooth our mesh. We can just add the clay and hit Shift and we can smooth. So yeah, that's our creature. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Do subscribe to my channel for new beginner tutorials. Thank you.